MotorWeek is made possible by Lucas Oil, Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, and TireRack.com.
Driving all new, top-of-the-line battery electrics from luxury brands is almost becoming routine for us. But checking out entry-level BEVs from the same luxury brands, well, that's still relatively new and really does grab our attention. So let's focus in on this Mercedes-EQB utility and see how it fits in. Unlike the other Mercedes EQ vehicles we've driven recently, the EQS and EQE families, this 2023 EQB is a bit of an outlier, as it's not based on an EV-specific chassis, rather a modified version of Mercedes-Benz's rugged-looking GLB compact utility. That's fine by us, as it has the EQB looking and perhaps more importantly behaving like just another Mercedes-Benz, and less like a completely different EV that requires you to adjust your mindset behind the wheel. In fact, if you were to let your neighbor borrow it for a short trip, there's a good chance they might hop in and just go, not even realizing it's an EV at all. Our tester is the base 250 Plus, which features a single front-mounted 138 kilowatt motor powering strictly the front wheels with 188 horsepower and 284 pound-feet of torque. A 70.5 kilowatt-hour battery delivers 245 miles of range, a number we found realistic. There are two more powerful options, both with a second motor in the rear for 4MATIC all-wheel drive. The 300, which ups power to 225 horsepower and drops range to 243 miles, and a 350 delivering 288 horsepower for up to 227 miles. Inside, things are very similar to the GLB, with cool features like the big turbine air vents and wide display housing twin 10-inch screens for instrumentation and MBUX infotainment. There are paddles on the steering wheel to adjust the level of regen braking, which goes from barely on to full one-pedal driving, plus a neat auto mode that uses camera, radar, and GPS data to determine which mode best matches your driving style. For a small vehicle, it's quite spacious inside, both up front and particularly in second-row seats. Yes, the EQB maintains the GLB's third-row option too. Obviously, space is tight back there for adults, so unless you absolutely need it, this 5-passenger version best prioritizes space for hauling 22 cubic feet of cargo, which maximizes to 61.8 cubic feet with the rear seatbacks folded. While not everyone is a fan of the GLB's G-Wagon Light upright styling, a big reason it's so spacious inside, most of us here liked the approach when we first drove it in 2020. The biggest changes you'll notice for the EQB include the smoothed-out grille insert, unique LED light bars, and aerodynamically optimized wheels. With only 188 horsepower to work with and 4,600 pounds of utility to move, the acceleration experience at our Mason-Dixon test track was not exactly the typical torque-heavy EV thrill ride. The launch was much more subdued here, taking it easy off the line on the way to a 7.7 second 0 to 60. We expect the top 350 to be about 2 seconds quicker. Still in this 250, power delivery stayed smooth and consistent the whole way down the track. Also very quiet, with no exaggerating whirring or whining sounds of electric motors. Just calm and controlled steadiness throughout the quarter mile, which ended in 16.1 seconds at 85 miles per hour. Not fast by EV standards, but certainly in line with typical non-performance small ICE crossovers. Handling, on the other hand, was much more akin to performance-minded offerings, with minimal understeer through our cone course. Steering had both nice weight and feel to it, and the front wheels responded very quickly to inputs. There was some moderate body roll, but it didn't seem to slow this EQB down at all, or even make us consider backing off a little. Braking performance mirrored acceleration with a slow and steady approach, stopping us from 60 and a lengthy 130 feet. While not blistering fast at the track, in everyday use, the EQB in fact felt quite peppy. Ride quality is definitely Euro firm, but it seemed to soak up road imperfections quite well. Pricing starts at $53,900, climbs to $58,050 for the 300 4MATIC, and tops out at $61,700 for the 350 4MATIC. Saying that this 2023 Mercedes EQB is the brand's most normal EV yet may sound like we're being negative, but it's really a great thing. It may not draw crowds or win beauty contests, but we think it will do quite well, as it's a great EV that anyone can live with and competitively priced with many mainstream offerings. And that makes for a much more realistic way, even for skeptics, to make the transition to battery electric vehicles.